What you doing, buddy? Okay. His face was priceless.
I don't think he can hear us.
No. Justin? Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
Up the wall.
Hey, buddy.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, you can hear us?
Good.
Hey. 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 Welcome to the Good Games Podcast. My name is James.
I'm Leo.
Oh, all right. Welcome, guys. Here we are. Here we are. Today, we're going to be talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and the top 5 places to go. Oh, is that your hand?
I was trying to.
He's giving the audience a high five.
My camera has like an autofocus thing, and I feel
there it is. Now you're in focus. I see you now.
That's pretty
I see you now.
It's weird. Yeah.
No, you're in focus now. You're good. You're good. So yeah, Flight Simulator. What do you guys think of this crazy game? Is it even okay? Wait. You is it a game? Is this a game?
Well, it's simulator.
All right.
Well, okay. So there are, not to say it's an exact kind of game, but like I know you can play. I say, like Google Earth on VR, which kind of accomplishes the same thing. There's other games like I think of like Space Engine, where you kind of fly around the galaxy. Is that a game? Because it's really kind of like it's simulating the universe essentially. So I don't know. If you think of those being a game, I think this could be enough of a game considered.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just being an asshole. Yeah, I think it's.
But there's a point. The interesting point to make is that a game that's a simulator is a little bit different, like because simulators inherently are simulating real life. So there's sort of a non-game element to that where you're trying to simulate reality to some degree.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, it's not like a Ace Combat isn't really comparable to Microsoft Flight Simulator to me.
Right. Yeah. I have to confess, like most of my playtime with this game has just been like, fuck the airplane. I'm just gonna use the drone cam outside of the airplane. I'm not even gonna play the game. I just want to see the like insane model of planet Earth that this game has constructed. Like that is definitely the most interesting part about this game. Yes. Yeah. So for those who are not in the know, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 has a complete and full reconstruction of the entire planet Earth. So you can fly your airplane, or don't fly your airplane. In my case, you can, explore the Earth anywhere, literally anywhere you want to go in the entire Earth, which is insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, I think the other big talking point about this game is how, to me, this is one of the first next gen games, right? This is you watch footage of this game and for a second you're like, what is that real life? Is that real life?
So one of the interesting things on that point that the most interesting things I saw was that there was a reviewer, I think, for Game.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
He takes a selfie, facing his monitor screen, and people think that he's actually on a flight somewhere in the plane.
Well, yeah, because he took the camera. I think he was on a 737 in the game, and took the camera back into where you would be, into where the the passenger cabin is, right?
Right.
And put the camera back in the seat and faced the camera out the window of the airplane and took a selfie of himself in front of his computer monitor with the window looking out the airplane. And you couldn't tell.
It literally looks real. It's crazy.
The way that game, the way that game models the volumetric clouds, the way the lighting engine interacts with those clouds, you cannot tell screenshot of clouds from picture of clouds in real life. Like,
Yeah.
You
The
can't tell.
clouds are perfect in this game.
You cannot tell.
Which is exactly why I cannot run this game effectively.
Oh no.
No,
And that's the other thing I was going to say. This being like a big next-gen game, it is demanding. It is like resource hungry and demanding in a way that I don't think I've ever seen another PC game ever do. Like it. Yeah.
My newborn son is less resource hungry and demanding than this game.
Yeah, this game wants your graphics card. This game wants your CPU. It wants all your RAM. It wants your internet bandwidth. Like, this thing wants everything, and it'll like use all of it. Like,
yeah. I don't have the privilege on my computer.
Yeah,
typical Microsoft.
If you don't have a pretty decent rig, you're probably not even going to be able to run the game. It is. Yeah, you need a good rig to run this game, and it shows. Like, the game is visually like, holy shit!
Gorgeous.
Like, the game looks crazy.
So the interesting thing about this game is there's two interesting aspects of it. Like we said, there's the aircraft simulation, and one thing they did that's interesting is they kind of, in this version in 2020, they've simplified that process enough. If you are not really interested in learning how to really fly a Cessna 140 whatever, you can just go like simple flight controls, and they do a lot for you. But if you really want to learn how to literally fly a plane in real life, you can do it by playing this game. And I actually found a story. There's multiple stories out there, but I even found a story where a guy had literally his only experience was in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And then he bet another person that he could land a plane. Like if someone else takes him in the sky, gets him up there, he could take the controls and land the plane. And he
That's
did it.
That's a scary bet, because if you win, you win the bet. If you lose, you're dead.
You lose your life, yeah. But I was impressed. I was like, the ball's on this guy, man. And he actually went out there and did it.
Wow.
I mean, that's an impressive simulation. Of course, the other aspect being the simulation of the planet, like you said, which is like, I mean, I could find, like, I flew in my city and could literally see my town. Like, it was like, it's crazy. I mean,
yeah.
Now, because you kind of live in a smaller town in North Carolina. I would be surprised if you have the like photogrammetry. Do you know, was it photogrammetry or was it like AI modeled houses? Like, did your house look correct?
So because of my limitations graphically, I'm running this game on, medium to low settings. So I don't know how to answer that question. From far away, it looks like it would be a photographic telemetry. Like, you could see the shape of my house. You could see I don't have a pool, but like I went to like another house that has like a swimming pool in the back. You can see swimming, like, there's details like that look like as if it's like satellite imagery. But then I landed on my street, and every house just looked like a mound of dirt with like doors and walls painted on them. So I don't know if that was just kind of like, graphical limitations.
Okay.
I feel like that was the one thing about the game, is if you got too close to the ground, then you realize this isn't real. You definitely have to be up in the air to like get that reality kind of feel.
Gotcha.
The game definitely looks the best in the air. Now, like, the trade-offs, because Justin and I live in Tampa. Most of Tampa has the photogrammetry, which means, like, basically what it is they've taken, like, an army of drones, right? And the drones just go around photographing everything. And then they basically use, I think, it's basically just trigonometry. And because the drone knows how tall it is, it knows how high it's flying, and it can figure out the approximate height and shape of other buildings because it's just constantly taking pictures. And then it can use that to construct 3D models and then wrap the texture of the pictures that it took around those models.
Okay, well, that's kind of what it looked like.
Oh, okay. So maybe you do have that, and that is so wildly impressive because you get like accurate shaped buildings with accurate colors and textures. The problem is, like Justin said, when you get up close, you're like, ooh,
What
like
the hell is that? Yeah, and
that
that's kind of what
looks
happened with
that
me.
looks
Yeah.
that looks a little crusty.
Well, I mean, to that point, like we have like you said, a small city-ish, but we have a really um, it's very obviously pointed out that we have a skyline with a skyscraper that looks like a giant penis. It's a very
Ooh, nice.
penis-shaped building. It's a dick
Nice.
building. It's what it is.
Nice.
It's the Winston's Tower, Winston-Salem. So you can even find magnets if you go to your like little shops downtown. We have a magnet on our fridge that says like "Welcome to Winston-Salem. We're always happy to see you." Like, I mean, it's part of our thing. And sure enough, and we have a small airport right by there. And I took off from there, and right there, penis building. And I was like, there it is.
I've flown into that airport a couple times. I didn't notice the penis building.
No.
You have to point it out to me next.
The airport I'm talking about is in our downtown in Winston-Salem.
Like
it is like a tiny ass airport. Only like
never mind.
rich people with Cessnas fly out of there. That's where I flew out of.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Private airplanes.
Although right now, due to COVID-19, there's a bunch of giant ass like 747 whatever's parked along like that airport because they're just not being used.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Wasn't there also like a glitch in the game where I saw watching some footage? There was a gigantic building in Australia.
Yes.
That was built like
yes.
It was like fucking 500 stories tall or something. It was
that's
ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they called it the obelisk, and I think there was there might have been another one. So basically, what happens when it doesn't have that photogrammetry data is that it uses AI it uses AI and it's looking at satellite pictures and it's trying to model cities and houses as close as it can based off this AI. And it actually looks better when you get like down to the ground and get up real close because it's using pre-generated assets and pre-generated models. Yeah. So the models look really nice. Now the problem is, and the reason that obelisk was generated is because the AI is also looking at, I think, like, it's either, I don't know, it's looking at some, like, user database of, like businesses. Yeah, it's some API of, like, users can go in and, like, say, like, okay, here's my building, here's my address, whatever. Yeah. And I'm guessing it's mostly for businesses. But what happened was there was a typo where it was supposed to be, like, a 20-story building, and they turned it into like a 200-story building or like a 2,000-story building because there's an extra zero or something.
That's funny.
And then like,
so yeah, there's just a huge obelisk in the middle of Australia.
Apparently, like in New York, I saw a couple things where like some fields, just random fields, were just being pasted with baseballs fields on them.
I've noticed that. Yeah, the AI is trying to recognize a lot of things, and I think when it's not photogrammetry, the AI is trying to recognize like common. So I think these like dirt patches. Yeah, and it's like, oh,
baseball
I got this. This is baseball.
Well, some kids are out there playing baseball.
Yeah, there's a baseball off of the middle of the interstate. Yeah, baseball field right there.
But I have noticed that there's like an insane amount of baseball fields.
It's like out of control. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, especially New York's like really bad.
It's America. They love baseball. There's some baseball fields in there.
But I think that happens.
Trying to bring back the pastime.
That happens in big cities a lot in that game, and especially the AI generated big cities. Because I went to Japan, and I know baseball is big in Japan. But I was just like flying around and I was like, what the fuck? Why are there like 18,000 baseball fields? Like, this can't be right.
Like comparing it to Google Earth, like this can't be. What?
So one of my favorite parts, I think, was actually during the tutorials. It has you use the highway, and it's a night flight, and it has you use the lights of the highway to help you navigate to the airport if you need to. Like, obviously you have a navigation system and everything, but to the point where I was like, hey, that's interesting. Let me go. I got up on a voice chat with my buddy Matt, and I was like, I want to get to your house from Tampa. I take off from Tampa and I just follow I-4. Just go east and past Plant City and then get into close to Orlando where he's at, and I was like, like you could literally follow highways and stuff. It's
Oh
crazy,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's
crazy.
absolutely
Have
crazy.
you guys tried to play on like the full expert mode where you have to do every little nit? Because I know everyone's played on easy mode and everyone's done the
Yeah.
drone, but
Yeah.
how deep
No,
did you get into simulation?
I've done a couple of. I did a few of the tutorials, and then I learned enough to be like, all right, flying's kind of hard. Yeah, flying's hard. Cool. Yep.
Well, I definitely pride myself on trying to like learn as much as I can. So, fun fact. Microsoft Flight Simulator for Windows 98 maybe was the first PC game that I ever played.
Oh, all right.
And there was like a guy, my dad's friend or something from work. We went over to his house, and then he just had like, I mean, this is back in the day, the old IBM, spring keyboards and stuff. And he had like the rudder pedals and a yoke.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And
okay,
like a big thick ass manual for like all of the HUD control. So like I was like, this is cool. I wish I had this. And then he ended up getting like a new set of everything and gifted me all that old stuff.
Oh shit!
Along with his old PC.
That's awesome.
So the first game I played on PC was diving into Flight Simulator. So because of that, I think like I was all about trying to learn like all the buttons, what they do, controlling the flaps myself, even like little things like I would kind of get into the role play of it and like turn on the cabin air, or whatever. This is your captain speaking.
This is Captain Leo, Niner, over.
Right. So
crash.
The only okay. Here's the one thing and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I always wish that Microsoft would just go like, let's let someone completely immerse themselves in the role play of the captain. Like, you've got the simulator, right? You've got this cool ass simulator, but then it's like it's always this empty airplanes. You start right in the plane right away. Like, I want to be a captain more than I want to fly an airplane. First, you're walking through the airport. You got bitches on your left and your right.
Oh, we're going back to
right. You get your little wheelie thing with they always have the suitcase and then they have like a bag on top. You got your uniform. People are like asking to take photos of you as you're walking to their gate, like that experience. And then you go in and then like you look back and you have all these hundreds of people that you're responsible for their lives. Like, even if you did like, Madden style, like copy pasted the same people over and over. I don't know. I want to have that immersion of I'm responsible for the people in this thing. So when I fuck up this, so when I ram into the Golden Gate Bridge for no reason, at least I feel a little guilty about it.
Martha dies.
Right. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like every game they've ever come out with, you never see passengers. You never have that experience. I don't know.
If you're truly going back to that era that you're referencing, you need to do a shitload of cocaine too, because apparently a lot of pilots
that's part of it.
Back in the day did a lot of cocaine.
Right.
They drank a lot too.
Yeah, I want to drink while I'm flying and have to like emergency land in the Hudson Bay or whatever. What is that?
I don't think that's what happened, but
yeah. I mean, you're mixing the 80s with the when was that? Was that 2005 or 2006? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that would be cool though to have like a kind of like at least like something where you have passengers and you're supposed to, based on your flying, like you kind of get like a rating per passenger. Or if you want to make it even more fun, is people fly on your airplane, and then when they get off your airplane, like multiplayer, and then they rate your flight.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this guy tried to fucking kill me. 0 out of 5 stars.
Yeah. There's something there. There's something there, man. Because like some people definitely want to play these simulators for that immersion, and I feel like they're kind of left to sort of role play that idea, and I just throw a little bit in there to help us who want to get immersed into it a little bit.
Okay.
Come on, Microsoft. Right. Listen to the people.
Have you guys
this is what the people want.
Multiplayer?
I haven't done any multiplayer.
I've not. So actually, I've heard of multiplayer. I've seen some footage of multiplayer. Because I could barely run the game in single player, I was like, "There's no way I'm playing multiplayer." Yeah. But it is very interesting that idea of like, so like that one video I shared recently. It's like you have all these people in one airport. Chances are, 8 out of 10 people are not going to know what the hell they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like one guy was scooting around with no gear down. He had like no landing gear, but somehow he was just kind of hovering over the runway.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how it handles multiplayer, because it seems like just everyone is all on the same server, on the same instance.
There's
I
know there's like a grouping feature, so you can have it set to where people can kind of join you in a group.
Okay.
Either that, or if you turn on like the everyone multiplayer, one thing I notice is like people kind of fade in and out. So it seems to like maybe it regulates how many people are like in an area with you. So it's not so network demanding if like 10 million people are flying around. So like, cause one of the streams I was watching, like people would fly around, then all of a sudden you just see the plane disappear. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's just it balancing like latency and bandwidth and stuff to how many players are on, so it doesn't like it doesn't kill your internet.
One of the interesting things about that too, though, is that like even when you're playing single player, you're kind of playing multiplayer too, right? As long as you have that, there's like that one feature enabled where you're like live when you start your flight. So I did do that, and I was out in the middle of nowhere trying to see the Grand Canyon, and which really just looked like it just looked like red rocks with kind of a part of it that was a canyon. I don't know what it was.
That's the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. And then like you can see in your navigation like another plane, and it was like flying towards me, and I was flying at different elevations, I imagine, but I was like looking around for it. I was like, oh, can I see another player?
Well, the other crazy thing is, in addition to all the multiplayer, it has live air traffic, so you can follow like the flight path of like real live right now fucking planes. And that's what made me wonder how the multiplayer works, because it seems like airports would just be constantly congested between the real life flights and all the multiplayer. Like, how is there not like 50 planes all trying to take off the same runway at the same time? So maybe when you're in an airport on a runway, maybe that's just instanced to just you, or I don't know.
Maybe.
But it's pretty fucking crazy.
It's a pretty crazy. I think it's a very impressive technical feat.
Oh my Jesus! Yeah,
like, it's
this
just really.
I cannot. This is the most technically impressive game I've ever played. I
think it's going to be the benchmark for a lot of
yes
PC builders for a while.
No, I've heard
it's convinced me to try to do an upgrade.
Yeah,
I'm still on my old AMD Phenom 2 quad-core processor. Yeah, it's been trucking. It's been getting me through life, but if I want to play Flight Simulator.
You're gonna need an upgrade.
Kill this CPU. Let's see what happens if I download it now. What happens to the CPU? Melt.
It'll melt. Yes.
I need to get it out of the motherboard anyway. So I mean,
I've heard a lot of hardware enthusiasts saying like this is like the new Crysis, because like for a long time Crysis was like the benchmark game for like how well does your computer run Crysis.
Yep. Yeah. And I will definitely be upgrading, sometime soon, and go back to this game, and we're running at ultra settings all the way through and see what it looks like.
Good fucking luck.
I feel like that's when you just teleport to another dimension. That just becomes your reality when you launch that game in ultra mode. You just you go into the game like Jumanji style.
Like everything just changes around you. Like
yeah,
like the Matrix.
Yeah, you just plug in.
That's the next thing. I'm a little disappointed that this doesn't already have VR support.
It's a good point.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Because this is the perfect game for VR, but I can also kind of see why they didn't ship it with VR, because like, whose computer is going to be able to run this in VR? Like,
that's kind of nuts.
you need a crazy computer to just run it normally, like with a decent frame rate, with like, I don't know. I like my computer right now barely can run this 60 FPS with just 1080p, like barely. So it would be even more resource hungry in VR.
You know what else I was surprised about? Surprised that Microsoft didn't really like emphasize Bing anywhere. Like, I feel like this is their chance to be like, hey, see guys, Bing did all this. Bing is cool, and like just try to convince people. And
I think they've given up on convincing people on Bing.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I was sort of surprised that like they recreated the entire planet Earth, and the application for that was a flight simulator. Like,
Right?
it seems like there's so many other insane, like, holy shit! Like, you can travel to anywhere, you can look at anything.
Well,
no,
okay,
use it for flight simulator. I don't know.
I think in retrospect, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like, Fly Anywhere Light or whatever, which was just like maybe like a phone app that kind of, or something like, I don't know, something where they just give you a light version of this experience. Because what's blown up about this game, especially during this time, as of this recording,
It's
we
the
are
ability to
still
go anywhere. Yeah.
we are still trapped in our homes,
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
you forego safety concerns.
Yeah.
And people aren't traveling out to these, wonderful places that I saw a meme today that was like, please stay in touch with your friends who love to travel. They're not doing okay. And there's like a close-up shot, and it looks like they're looking at a airplane window, but then instead it's actually a toilet bowl, and they just opened it up, and it's just a circle of the toilet bowl. Like, people who love to travel, they're stuck in their homes right now, and this game came out at the perfect time if you have a PC that can run it. But
Yeah.
to your point, Microsoft has an opportunity here to really sell this as like the next Pokemon Go level popularity.
This is the time to push
Because
this
right
kind of
now
thing.
we want to travel, man. I'll go to France right now.
All right. Well, speaking of that, I think that's a good segue.
Let's
Let's
see what I did
segue
there.
into our top 5 here. What are the top 5 best places to visit in Microsoft Flight Simulator?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me pull up my list here. I can't even remember what I wrote down. All right, I'll start off with my my number 5 was theme parks, which are if you live in the state of Florida, some of them are open right now. You can technically go there. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but hey, you can visit a theme park in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, my wife loves theme parks. I can take or leave theme parks. The really interesting thing to me with this was because when you're in theme parks, and specifically like Disney and Universal, they do a really great job of making sure when you're inside the park, you cannot see outside the park, and when you're outside the park, you cannot see inside the park, right? So it's a lot of like high walls, and the way they've constructed their buildings, like they don't want you to be able to like see outside, like when you're in the park, you're in the illusion.
Yeah.
So
Like the top of the Epcot ball and the top of the castle.
Yeah, it was crazy to see like in Flight Simulator, like just like the way some of these places. Bird's eye view, yeah, exactly, and being able to navigate that in 3D.
Isn't Disney like restricted flying space too? Like planes and stuff are not allowed to fly over it.
Yeah. So now you can fly your plane over Disney.
Yeah, you
but like
crash your plane into Disney. Beat the corporation. Fight the man.
The other crazy thing is like you can see how a couple, like specifically Disney's Magic Kingdom has like boxed themselves into a corner because there's like no fucking way to expand that park without they would have to like demolish like a parking lot or like fill in like a water. There's no.
But
way
do they
to
even
make that bigger
do they even have to expand Magic Kingdom?
No, probably
come on.
not. It was just interesting to me to see like, oh, hey, they can't make this any bigger.
Physically, this is what you get. Yeah. That's interesting. I haven't thought about doing that. There's a couple things like that where like I don't think about it right away, but then when you say it, I'm like, oh, that would be fun. Let me go try that.
So that was my number 5.
I don't know that I have 5 exactly, but I have definitely a handful to contribute to the overall list. The first one I'd like to mention is I actually learned of this not through Flight Simulator, but through a random YouTube video of a guy saying that he went to Google and found, like, was trying to search for the most unvisited or non-visited, least visited place in the world, and he wanted to go there. And then it ended up being like this island off the I don't know exactly where it is, but it's called the Taovao Islands. Am I saying that right?
Okay.
I think it's that. The airport code is FUN, FUN.
Oh.
Okay. And then it's literally like an island that when you're they're called the Funafuti. It's called the Funafuti National Airport in the Tuvalu Islands. If
Okay.
you're standing on one side of the island, you can see the other side of the island. It's like a
Oh,
tiny
that's
island,
crazy. Okay.
but with an international airport.
Yeah, with an airport? Like what?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
super cool. And I just thought it's really interesting because like it's such a tiny island, and it's like so he was saying that when the airport like when people aren't landing at that airport and stuff, they use it as like a soccer field. Like all the kids in the entire population of the island go there and play soccer because that's
That's
like
awesome.
Yeah,
the
but
largest
they
large
get, like,
mass
one
of
plane
space.
every 6 months.
Right, right. So it's just very interesting to me that like you can go right now in Flight Simulator and visit the least visited place in the world.
But the most fun island.
Right. So that's
Um,
the Funafuti Airport in
I like that
Tuvalu
its
Island.
name changes every time.
I don't know what the hell it's called, but it's fun.
Um, I haven't had much of a privilege, obviously, playing the game itself. But if I were to have a number 5, I would put seeing New York and being able to fly around New York, like actually kind of
That's on my
close to
list
the
too.
yeah, like because
Yeah.
obviously in New
Yeah.
York the planes have to go pretty high up, so you can see the city. But like to be able to fly a plane kind of low and see the city is actually kind of cool. And really that goes for any like major city. Like you can go to San Fran and do that. You can do it in Tampa here. But like New York is pretty cool to see that.
Yeah.
See like Central Park and all the buildings and all that. That'd be my number 5.
Yeah, I had that. That was my number 3, was just big cities. And then specifically I had New York because it's like New York is such like a vertical city.
Yeah.
But then I flew my plane through Tokyo, which like Tokyo is forever. It's just there's just city forever and ever and ever. Like it just sprawls on forever. Like
Yeah.
I cannot. It's
There is no
like when
nature left.
yeah, when you get in there and you're like when you get your plane into Tokyo, like into the heart of Tokyo, you just look, you know, you're flying at a decent altitude and all you can see is just city in all directions. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like it's fucking insane.
That's kind of
yeah.
nuts, yeah.
So big cities, I have that. That was my number 3, actually.
Yeah.
My number 4, I'll just throw it out. My number 4 was the obelisk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I would say like in Flight Simulator, try to visit all the anomalies before they patch them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they already patched the one in Australia.
Oh.
All right. Is there any other ones we want to throw out here?
Oh yeah. I'd like to throw down the London area.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
guess.
London. Yep.
The interesting thing about it was like London has so many iconic, just
Yep.
things that
Mhm.
like that was the first place I went. I was like, if I could just think of one place, I'd like to see all the iconic things that would be London and see if everything is in the game, and everything is in the game exactly where it would be in real life, and I know that because I've been there. Like I've been to London Eye and Big Ben and the freaking MI6 building that looks like kind of weird, like it's all there. And like that was pretty fun. So I just flying through around in London at a low altitude.
The one thing that at least at launch, I know was wrong with London because a lot of people reported on this was Buckingham Palace, because parts of London are AI generated. The AI for Buckingham Palace just put like a normal ass apartment building.
The Queen had to
Yeah.
downgrade a bit.
Yeah. AI is like, yeah, Buckingham Palace apartment
The
building,
economy's
whatever.
not so great.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say another good one would be like personally here in Florida, just kind of flying over the East Coast. Being someone who's from the East Coast of Florida,
Yeah.
it's nice just to kind of like take like a plane and kind of fly a little bit low and just like look at all the beaches and everything that kind of goes along the coast there.
You know what's insane? Like flying over Florida, there's so much water in Florida. Like it's just
We're
water.
supposed to be a swamp. We're not supposed to.
Yeah.
We're supposed
We
to be
are,
underwater.
like, We are. Like, when you get the plane up that high, you're like, oh, that's water. That's water. Oh, there's a big lake there. Like, there's just so much water in Florida. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's like there's like tiny little rivers going everywhere, and then there's giant lakes and lake, and then a river,
Yeah, yeah.
and then from a distance, it looks like patches of land, like almost like they're all a bunch of tiny islands, because that's what it is.
Yes.
We're just we're a fucking swamp.
That's what Florida is. Patches of land over water.
Really.
No, when you get your plane up at a high altitude, it looks like God took a machine gun and just shot a whole bunch of holes in Florida. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why Florida is going to end up sinking one day. You know?
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be soon.
You guys got to start moving up.
All right. One of the ones I had is I flew out. It's okay. So you have your AI modeled cities. You have your photogrammetry cities. Now, some cities like London, like Cairo in Egypt, like France has like the Eiffel Tower. Some cities have like handcrafted areas. So like the pyramids in Cairo are handcrafted. The Eiffel Tower is handcrafted. So you have some models that are handcrafted. I am going to endorse going to Rio de Janeiro and visiting what the internet calls T-posing Jesus. T-posing Jesus.
T-posing Jesus.
Yes, the statue of Christ the Redeemer in Rio. The internet just calls that T-posing Jesus.
That's
which is
hilarious.
not wrong.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong.
That's accurate.
If you needed a model of Jesus with an exact T-pose, I mean, that's what you would use.
That's funny.
But yeah.
That's funny because like that's such an iconic thing to like, you know, if you ever got to see that in, you know, in real life would be huge, and hey, you can go see it now in a simulator. That's
T-posing Jesus.
T-posing Jesus. Cool.
That's good.
All right, the last one I have. Oh, did you have one, Leo?
No, I was just curious. I didn't really have this on my list. I don't have anything else to think of, but can you see like the Great Wall?
The Great Wall of China. Oh, I would assume so. I haven't actually been to China, but I would assume so.
No one can go to China. No one's actually tried.
It's just blacked out. You fly your plane over there.
It's a black rectangle.
It's pixelated.
It's always pixelated.
Yeah, it's like the Great Wall, but it's all domed off. Like you just
yeah, that's funny.
Now, the last one I have on my list, which is like the most obvious one, and it's the first one that anyone will do, is just go visit your house. Because you're like, that's awesome. There's my house in a video game. And the crazy thing, like I said, Tampa, we have the photogrammetry. So, like, my house is, like, accurately modeled because, like, the way my house has, like, three... Okay, so I have, like, a main unit of my house. Then I have, like, a patio that separates the house from, like, my garage and this game room where I'm recording this podcast. So there's, like, three different discrete models, and... the photogram, my house is like discrete. All of it looks correct, which is like mind blowing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like they didn't just superimpose a farmhouse or something where your house.
Yeah, exactly. No, my house is modeled correctly. Now, when you move the camera in too close, it looks really crusty. But I mean, the modeling's all correct.
That's cool, man. That's definitely cool. So it's kind of difficult in North Carolina, at least in my area. Like I did what you said in Florida, and I went to like my old house in Florida, went to Matt's place. Like it was like, oh, cool, like so accurate, awesome. But Florida is relatively flat and swampy, like you said. You go to North Carolina, I take off, and it's just I see the downtown, I see the penis building, and then beyond that, just fucking trees, just trees for miles and miles, and I couldn't see streets, I couldn't see, you know, and I often think that when I'm driving around here, like we got a lot of fucking trees around here, but it wasn't until I was in the air trying to find my house that I just gave up. I was like, look, I can't tell where anything is. Screw it.
Florida has water, and the Carolinas have trees.
It's full of trees.
No, I remember whenever we did trips for the USF band is just driving on the highway. Yeah, it's all trees, and then you go like, oh look, there's a building. Oh wait, no, it's just an abandoned factory. Okay, well, trees. Okay, there's just trees. Yeah. Like,
so from up in the air, they cover the highways. Like you can't see anything.
Like Florida, here I'm used to like after like a couple miles you find some kind of civilization. But like I feel like in North Carolina you drive and you drive and you drive and you drive, and there's like
Yeah.
nothing. Or and even if you
There's-
take like an off-road to go to a city, then it's like that's another 20 miles to get to that actual city because they're like, oh,
Well,
that's close.
not only that, but then you'll be at the city, but you won't see it. There's just trees,
Yeah.
and then suddenly you'll round a bend, and the city just fucking appears out of nowhere, like an entire sprawling thing. You know, it's crazy.
I want to say it was like Hartford or something we were in. I don't know, but it's just like, yeah, it pops up out of nowhere. It's just like there's a town, but the town is dominated by trees.
Yeah, that's how things are.
It's like yeah, for our lakes in Florida, it's your towns, like.
I went to Texas after living here like 5 years. I went to Texas last year, and Texas similar to Florida, you know, mostly flat. Long like fields of vision. Like I got out of a building and looked down and I could see I could see like the Dallas Cowboys stadium from like super far away, and I was like, I don't remember the last time I could see that far, like just physically, you know, like
there weren't objects in my way.
Yeah, like that's a thought that crossed my mind. You know, it's funny.
Texas is very flat.
Yeah,
I've been to Texas.
Never been to Texas.
It's very dry too.
But I could go there in Flight Simulator.
Go. Oh, that was, dude. Did you fly over like Buck State, the Ray Day Stadium and everything?
Whoa, that one's crazy.
I did that.
Did you go in the stadium? Because the drones that they use for the photogrammetry, you can go in the stadium, and inside the stadium is modeled. Not only that, but they have advertisements for like Coke and Pepsi and Ford and like all the advertisements. There's like Bud Light advertisements, all exactly where they are in real life. And
yes, it was crazy. Really surprising to me because I flew out of Tampa and I was like, wait, where am I? Holy shit, it's a Buck Stadium, like right there, and it like looked like it. It was like a spot on image. So.
That would be one on my list, is to just visit like a bunch of like huge structures, like stadiums.
Even like here in Winston, we have. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but it's like a kind of large baseball stadium, like owned by BB&T banks and stuff, and it's like the big stadium like in our area, and it's like right there, and it looks exactly like it. That's crazy, man. It's such a cool game. I want to go play it right now.
Yeah, the other crazy thing is you can tell when you fly into Raymond James Stadium, you can tell exactly when the photogrammetry, like when the pictures were taken. It was like during the like 20, I forget when we hosted, I think it was the Fiesta Bowl or something, because you can see in the end zone, it's like LSU and some other school, like the two schools who were playing for the Fiesta Bowl. I can't remember.
I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago, if I remember.
Yeah. That's when the pictures were taken, because you can still see their names in the end zone.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right. It's pretty crazy. I don't know. Did we even have a top 5?
I don't know. Was there 5 there?
Go theme parks, big cities, obelisks, T-posing Jesus, and your house.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
Too many options. There's too many choices. Yeah. Just if you have a strong enough PC, go and play the game and go visit things. If you don't have a strong enough PC, Google Earth. That's the next best thing.
Sure. You can make all the airplane sounds yourself,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. You guys want to endorse some stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Should I go first? I am going to endorse a television program called Adam Ruins Everything. It is a educational entertainment program about just it's a comedian, Adam Conover. He kind of plays this snarky nerd on this program who takes delight in I know all these facts about things, and the show is framed as he's just being this annoying snobby nerd who's going around and just facts or whatever. But it's entertaining. You can learn a lot about it. One of the most interesting things is he'll take a popular cultural myth or a commonly held cultural belief, when we proposed the very first episode,
the marriage one, yeah.
The marriage one, yeah, that's one of the most popular ones. It's his very first episode. He's like, when a man proposes to a woman, there's all these things like, it's tradition that we give rings with diamonds, and it's this long tradition that goes back however many years. No, it fucking doesn't. It goes back to like the early 1900s, where like this diamond company just ran a bunch of advertisements and was like, hey, when you marry a woman, you need to buy her diamonds, like buy these diamonds. And then they just like marketed diamonds aggressively. And then like everyone was just like, oh, we got to get diamonds when we propose now. And then like it doesn't go back that far. That buying diamonds is not a long held tradition.
Mm-hmm.
But then like also there's all these like myths of like, how much, what do they say when you buy the diamond, like how much you spend on it? Is it like two months salary or something like that? That's total bullshit. Like all that just comes from the diamond company. They're like, oh yeah, you should definitely spend 2 months of your salary on our diamonds. Anyway, a lot of the show is just cultural beliefs are just corporate marketing.
That's kind of the scary thing you learn through that show is a lot of crap is controlled through corporate marketing. But I know the nice thing about that show too is everything they actually display things like resources. He has an entire research team that does this for him.
Yep. So, it's very well researched.
Yeah. So if you ever question, you can even, I think you can go onto Twitter, and if you ever had if you ever wanted to like counter argue with them, like on a fact, you can do it via Twitter, and they'll check it out, and they'll correct themselves if they're wrong.
Yeah, it's very well researched. They cite their sources. My only issue is I've watched just a ton of this show recently because it's pandemic and there's just fucking nothing else to do except watch television and play video games. My only issue is with their football episode. He made a point about the NFL playoffs and how they're essentially random. So his lead up argument is that the playoffs are a very small sample size. So like you have, a 16 game NFL season where you play 16 games. And then in the playoffs, you're supposed to determine which team is best. But you're only playing one game as opposed to, as opposed to 16 games or even what baseball or hockey do, which is play a series of games. Right. So like his argument was like, oh, the sample size is too small. So the outcome is random. Like, yes, the sample size is small, but the outcome isn't random.
It's more prone to variance.
Yes, exactly. It is more prone to variance, but it is not random, and those are two very different things. Anyway, that was my only issue that I've watched in like 40 or 50, maybe not that many. I've watched a lot of Adam Ruins Everything. But
although,
that was like,
to be fair, you probably know that is something you know very intimately.
Exactly.
Compared to the other things.
You got like personally offended, like, oh.
Well, I didn't get offended.
Well, but I mean, I just mean to say that because you know it so well, you were able to point out
when you're knowledgeable and passionate about a thing. Because he did Adam Ruins video games, and I was like, oh, here we go. Like I know a lot about video games. And no, the episode was very well researched. He did like violence in video games, and it was all very good. But his one thing with football, I'm like, yeah, no, competitive games aren't randomly. There isn't a random outcome. There's a high level of variance, but there's not a random outcome.
It's skill based randomness, I guess.
more often than not, the better team will win. Yes.
It's like, why do you always have the same teams at the top, right? If that were
exactly. Like look at the New England Patriots. Like that's a statistical anomaly that shouldn't happen if everyone is
truly random.
Whatever. Anyway, Adam Ruins Everything. It's good.
If you really want to feel uncomfortable, though, watch the security episode. That one's.
Oh yeah.
Make you feel like. That'll make you really rethink your passwords.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it some more watches. Yeah, I've definitely seen a couple of clips from that, or maybe just links people have sent here and there. But I'm gonna have to digest that show a little bit more.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's very good.
Cool. I am going to endorse something that's been on my list to endorse for a while because I kind of wanted to get into this a little earlier in the year, and then I didn't really follow up on it, but now I definitely want to, and that is streaming on Twitch, or I guess any other streaming service, but live streaming, something that you enjoy doing. I have always tried to like look for cool ways to do like content and create content for something that I've been comfortable enough to do like on my own, like just turn on the camera and say hello to the world. Like It's a little bit anxiety inducing if you think about it. But even if you don't have anyone really following you or anything like that, like my favorite thing to do on Twitch, honestly, is to go like if there's a game I'm playing, I don't want to go see the ninja or the shroud or whatever top dude with 40,000 people watching. I'm like, I'm not interested, really. I want to go scroll all the way down to someone who has like one viewer watching and just see like, what they're doing, just kind of have a chat and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I
You're a
think that
sympathizer.
it's a weird way to connect during this time with other people
Yeah,
around the
because
world.
they'll get more personal with you.
It's more personal. You get to ask like, they'll ask you like, how was your day? What do you do? Where are you from? Like you get these personal it's like, it sounds terrible, but it's kind of like cam chatting with like people on like chat roulette or something. You just like randomly get paired with like another person, like that
Send me
kind
your
of thing.
dick pics and, like,
But without the dick pics, right? That's really that's the selling point. But it is.
All right,
It's
Leo,
like-
Leo,
this
what?
guy's asking me some weird questions now. What's going on?
So my
What is your-
endorsement is stream yourself on dickpics.
What is?
.com.
Don't do that. What is your personal Twitch page, Leo?
Sorry, my Twitch that I'm trying to get off the ground here is twitch.tv/logical insanity. You can find me on Twitter at logical insanity and on TikTok _logical insanity. And
Yeah.
You have a
that's
TikTok.
what I'm gonna do.
Our
Yeah.
our sister YouTube channels are Logical Insanity and Golden Days Elf for Leo and Justin, respectively.
Yes. So yeah, get out there and stream, people, and let the people hear you. You connect with some folks from around the world. It's pretty fun, but don't send them dick pics.
Actually, the funny thing was that was kind of like into my endorsement was I was
Oh,
almost
segue.
re-endorsing. Yeah, I was re-endorsing like YouTube and stuff because honestly, that like I haven't even been watching shows. I just been watching YouTube channels because like every day there's something new, and it's just.
I have a friend that made fun of me for that. Like, he's very much like a cable watcher still. Like he'll watch cable television or whatever that is now. But he was making fun of me because like that's what my thing. I'll just YouTube this channel. The notifications thing on YouTube. Every day I get a notification from like 6 or 7, people I'm subscribed to, and I'm like, oh, cool, they uploaded something.
Yeah.
That's my TV.
Yeah, and like the thing is when you watch it, it also feels relatable because half the time if they're talking, like if there's commentary, they're talking about recent things and things going on, and they're playing
And they're
games
people.
yeah, and they're like people. And,
Right? They're not Hollywood celebrities. They're us. They're you. It's the you tube.
Yeah, and like and on Twitch, I've been branching out onto like watching more of the people who are related to like the Vine Sauce community. I've been watching more of them and just kind of learning new people and trying to, I don't know, get that feel for it.
Nice.
So
Nice.
go out there, go watch some people, and it's all not. It's some people I think often misinterpret it as all being like nerd stuff, video game stuff. It's not all that.
No,
There's plenty out there.
there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly that, but there is right.
That's the hot topic right now. But
No, you can find other stuff.
like my wife watches like weird videos of people like picking toes and doing weird surgery
Oh,
things
that
and-
sounds exactly like your wife.
Yeah, she likes watching that.
It's so
shit,
gross.
So,
So gross.
but hey, she's entertained by it. There's plenty
I
of
will
entertainment.
say, I sometimes get lost in the videos of chiropractors just cracking people's bodies. Like they turn the mic like way up, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, you've got a 9 spot on the spine factor or whatever," and then like the whole thing.
Chiropractor ASMR kind of.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna try not to kill you as I break your neck.
This one,
And he'll hold them like this. He's like, yeah, here, and we'll get ready, and it'll just go like this, and it'll just be like, it's like, oh my god.
You're just waiting for the one where he does that and the guy goes limp.
Yeah, that's kind of addicting to watch. I will admit. That's the dangerous part about YouTubing. Like I call it YouTubing.
Yeah.
Like I can explore YouTube for hours, but sometimes if you do that, you wind up in like the weird parts of YouTube.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you
Yeah.
keep going like into the auto videos, it keeps
Yeah.
going deeper and deeper.
It goes deeper and deeper,
And
and
it's like obviously
before
if
you
you're
know it,
subscribed, usually it'll kind of keep playing the same people. But if you're not subscribed, it just kind of goes, all right, this is the next best video for you. You want to get.
but like
into that?
sometimes I get into like a flow state, you know, and I just start searching whatever comes to my mind, and that's where you wind up in some weird, like, you know, it's like some random person toasting marshmallows or something, and you're just like, where am I right now?
Yeah.
You know, what am I doing? And then and you look in the comments, and there's other people saying the same thing in the comments, like, why are we watching this video of a guy cooking
How
in
have
the
I
wild?
got here?
Yeah,
What is my life?
yeah.
I've gone too far down the rabbit hole.
All right. I think that's it, right? Or is that it?
Do you want to endorse the podcast?
Oh
James?
shit! I probably should, huh? I endorsed everyone else's YouTube channels and Twitch
Speaking
channels.
of YouTubes and streams,
Speaking of YouTubes and Twitches, we are on YouTube at Good Games Podcast. We are on Patreon at Good Games Cast. Our email address is goodgamescast@gmail.com. Send us dick pics. Don't do that. Send us.
oh god, no.
Don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. No. Send us feedback. Send us. Hey. Here's something I should probably do. I've heard other podcasters do this. Rate us on whatever app that you're. Are we on? I can't remember if we're on iTunes. Yeah, we're on iTunes.
We're on all
Rate
of
us.
your favorite podcasts.
Yeah, whatever you're listening to us on. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe and a bell. If you're on iTunes, give us 5 stars. If you're on Google, give us what do they do? 5 stars? Give us 5 stars. Give us 5 stars.
General,
give us
maybe.
give us a 5-star thumbs up.
In
Subscribe,
general,
bell.
give us stuff. Yeah.
Just give us.
Yeah,
Give
if
us.
you
Give
do
it.
4
Give it.
stars,
Give
that's
it. Give
not
it.
enough. You gotta do 5.
Right. We have 5 all the way.
All the way.
This is a 5-star podcast.
Hell,
Come on,
even
come
well,
on
I
now,
would
come
say,
on.
you know, even
Come
if you
on.
want to give us a dislike and a 1-star, I'll take that. you know?
What?
I'll take
all
it.
right.
Get outta here.
You know what? Yeah, any kind of feedback. Tell us we suck.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hear from the people.
Just knowing that someone's watching, even if they're
Right.
only
Right.
watching a little bit.
Even if it's a
Is
dick
Is
pic.
anyone out there? Is anyone listening to this?
Hey, I'm listening. Here's my dick pic. You know, like that's fine.
Oh.
Then
James
we'll
will
know.
He'll
We're
look at
out
the
there.
email.
Oh, okay. I'm afraid to look at our email right now.
Oh,
You said
man.
it.
I did, and I regret it. I regret everything. I
It's
regret
out
it all.
there.
I regret it all. This is terrible. Let's end this. All right. Our next show. Oh, by the way, while we were waiting for the show to begin, Leo and I decided what our next episode is. Our next episode is Monopoly and the top 5 worst fucking board games. Because fuck Monopoly. Monopoly can go straight to hell. And we're just gonna talk about why we hate Monopoly. That's gonna be our next episode. Yeah. So for the good games,
It's
oh,
4:00 in the morning, Grandma. You win. That's
Oh
the
God,
best
was
bit
that
ever?
was that Dane Cook?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you took me back with that one. You took
Yeah.
me all the way back.
That's so accurate, though.
No, it's true. I fuck Monopoly.
All right, that should be fun. That should be a fun conversation.
All right. For the Good Games Podcast, I'm James.
I'm Leo.
I'm Justin.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Send me dick pics, please.
Goodbye, and fuck you, dick pics. Yeah.
It like makes my brain go like.
Oh. Check it out. Check it out. Newman's here.
Oh, okay. What's he say? Oh, here we go. Live call from Newman. This is it.
Newman. You're on live with me and my buddy James and Justin. This is
I'm so sorry. I'll call you another time. I was just
no.
turning the call.
This
We're not recording it.
You're meant
This
to
is
be
perfect.
live.
This is perfect.
okay.
Okay. This is a true test of your board game nerdum that I have talked up quite a bit to James.
Sure.
Okay. I've told him basically you are the guy when it comes to board games. Like,
I'm not the guy, but I know some stuff.
okay. Well, I think you're the guy because I think you're great. All right. Now listen.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
Now listen. Tell me what you know about Twilight Imperium. Twilight Imperium.
Imperium? Which version?
oh, okay. So
Oh.
that's it. That's
Right,
it. That's
you
all
sold
you
him.
need to
You
know.
sold-
That's
that's all I
you
did-
need to
that's
know.
all you
That's
needed
all
to
need
say.
know. That's all you got to say.
Edition or third edition? Because
Yeah, fourth edition. Yeah.
Which is a couple of hours less. Twilight Imperium third edition typically takes anywhere between 8 to 12 hours to play. Twilight Imperium also was the big founding game for Fantasy Flight games, and Christian, the guy who started Fantasy Flight games, that was his big staple item with Fantasy Flight, and what helped them get bought up by Asmodee North America. And Twilight Imperium 4th edition, I believe, just came out in 2018, which now takes only 5 to 7 hours to play. It's a galactic game where you can do anything. You can have a senate, you can fight people, you can trade, you can pass laws. I mean, it's crazy. It's a big game.
Yeah, it's a huge game. And look,
there's multiple races and stuff like that. And
I don't know if Newman can hear me, but tell him he needs to teach you how to play.
Books.
I'll tell him.
It's a big game to learn and to play.
So
we do need more players.
So speaking of learning how to play, James is my buddy back in Florida, and he's basically saying that he wants to play it with me when I go down. But if I could learn how to play with you, then that saves me a lot of time.
We'd have to get like Chris and a bunch of other people. It's not worth playing unless you have multiple peoples because it's so big.
Yeah, that sounds a little unrealistic, but maybe I'll just at least watch some videos or something. But
yeah, I'd watch some YouTube videos, and you're still not going to learn everything on how to play because there's so much to it.
Yeah,
and then each race has got different benefits, and there's certain races that don't mix well with other races, and certain races that do mix well, and also depends on the player strategy and what they're trying to do. And then also you have these missions in the game, and so you may be trying to do something, but somebody else's mission is going to stop you from doing that. So,
man, it does sound fun.
It's a crazy, big, awesome, complex game.
All right.
It's probably the mother load of 4X games.
Bullet round, super quick. Top 5 favorite board games, go.
Top 5 favorite, Blood Rage, Nemesis, I would have to say Risk, just for nostalgia reasons. I have 22 different copies of Risk.
Wow.
Man, there's so many. I haven't thought about this in a long time that I really love. I also love Mansions of Madness. That's a top game of all time. And I would say tied with Mansions of Madness, 2nd edition is Cthulhu, Death May Never Die. But then there's also Champions of Midgard. There's a bunch of other Euro games. I really like the new Brass that came out, but that's a hardcore game. Reavers of Midgard is not. I mean, I can't.
There's a lot.
That, like,
there's a lot.
Bullet rounds.
Okay, I think basically you and James are officially friends, and next time he comes up, I'll introduce you guys. You've passed the test.
He likes board games.
Yeah, I think he was just the whole time he's nodding his head and smiling at all this.
Okay.
So good job. Way to step up, man.
To your call. I was just returning your call. Sorry, I missed your calls. I'm actually watching a show, and so anyway, you guys have a good night, man.
All right, I'll call you back after this.
All right,
buddy. You gonna be up?
Bye.
All right, see you. There you go.